Hey and welcome to a new Nerdic Coder tutorial. Today we will be looking at setting up a new Spring Boot project in VSCode. Let's start by creating the project folder. Open the newly created folder. Yes, I trust this author. Next we will install some useful VSCode extensions for a Java Spring Boot project. Let's start with an expansion pack called Extension Pack for Java. It contains most things that you need for Java development in VSCode. It can help you with things like writing, testing and debug Java applications. The next extension pack we will install is named Spring Boot Extension Pack. Useful for developing and deploying Spring Boot applications. Now with the Spring Initializer we can create a new Spring Boot base project using a command in the VSCode command palette. Press Ctrl plus Shift plus P to open command palette. Type Spring Initializer to start generating a Maven Spring Boot project.
Pick the most recent Spring Boot version in the list. Choose the Java language option in the list and pick a package name of your application. Give your project a suitable name. Choose WAR package type since WAR files are specifically designed for web applications. Pick the newest Java version in the list. Because
it's got this really great baseline in it.
Now you get to choose some useful dependencies for the project. My preferences is Spring Boot Dev Tools because it provides features such as fast restart and live reloads. And Lombok, because it reduces boilerplate code. A simpler way to add getters and setters and much more. Now the boilerplate project is created. Let's open it in VSCode. pom.xml is a Maven project file defining build, dependencies, and project info. Click the Install button for dependency analytics. Recommended by Red Hat. Enable the null analysis for the project. It will identify and prevent errors related to null references. We need to download and install Maven before we can build the project. Extract the downloaded Maven zip file. Move the extracted file to an appropriate location. Add the Maven location to your user environment and path. Let's restart VS Code and try again.
You are not prepared.
Now we don't get the warning, but we get another error of missing Java 21. So let's install that as well. I usually go for the Amazon Corretto versions of Java since they are easier to deal with and none of the oracles.
A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit?
Let's restart VS Code and try again.
No.
We need to update the Java home environment variable to point to the new Java version. Let's restart VS Code and try again. Now we don't get any errors at startup at least.
Woohoo!
Let's check what kind of Java code we have here. Application.properties in Spring Boot configures app settings, server port, database URLs, and more, allowing easy management of the app. At Spring Boot application marks the main class, enabling auto configuration, component scanning, and extra configurations for a Spring Boot app. Servlet Initializer extends Spring Boot Servlet Initializer for deploying Spring Boot apps to a servlet container. Let's try running the application by pressing the play icon and then selecting Run Java. Allow all the network access request, but only if you trust the network you are on. And there you go. The server is alive on port 8080. Spring Boot Actuator was added to the project. Let's rerun the app. Spring Boot Actuator provides production-ready features like app health, metrics, and auditing, for easy monitoring. Let's visit the application in the browser. We get an error because our application have no content yet and shows a default error page because we have not created a custom error page. Let's run the empty test to check that they are fine. Yes, all green. Now let's create our first Hello World controller. We add a REST controller annotation. It combines controller and response body, handling HTTP requests and responses in a Spring MVC app. Let's add a get mapping annotated method to the class. It maps HTTP get requests to handler methods. As you can see, VSCode creates the boilerplate method for us so we don't have to write it ourselves. Let's name the new mapper /hello. Let's just return a string containing the value hello world for this example. Let's see if the new endpoint works. The boilerplate added a param input that is required. But we don't need it for this example, so let's remove it and try again. Let's fix a better error page, since it's not so nice or secure to show the world stack trace errors. Create a new global exception handler.java file. Controller advice annotation offers global exception handling, data binding, and model enhancement for controllers. Exception handler annotation marks methods in Spring apps to handle exceptions thrown by controller methods, enabling custom error responses. Let's create the method that responds to all kinds of exceptions. We will return a response entity with a string value. The method will return an internal server error in this example. Let's reload the application and try out the new error page. All working fine now. That concludes this tutorial on how to develop Spring Boot applications in VS Code. If you want to see more tutorials like this one, let me know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.